Hi there. Today we're going to go over 4 games with my roommate Alon, and let's see what his mistakes are and how he can improve. So this is his first game that he played yesterday against Av Trump. Alon's rating is 1076, and Mr. Av Trump's rating is 1052. So without further ado, let's go ahead and get started. So we have d4, d6, e4, e5. This is the King's Pawn game Araxi defense. Okay, and it transposed into a Philidor defense. So far, this is good. I like the move c4 because it gains space. And he plays knight to f6. So far, so good. Both sides are developing pieces. And it's about equal. Okay, bishop g4, pinning this knight to the queen and threatening to take the pawn. He's threatening to take once with the pawn and once with the knight, and only the queen is defending it, because if the knight takes back here, the bishop will be able to take the queen for free. So that's why I played bishop g4 to get you in that pin. I like the move bishop to e2, deflecting the pin and still protecting this pawn. However, you are allowing black to do a tactic, and that tactic is called removing the defender. So right now, let's look at what's protecting this pawn. You have the knight and the queen, and it's attacked by the pawn and the knight. So it's 2 against 2, which seems pretty cool. However, black can get rid of one by capturing the knight, like this. Now, only one piece is defending this pawn, so after you take back, this pawn is free. You can either take it with the pawn or with the knight, and that's it, you're down a pawn. So, bishop e7 in hindsight was a mistake because it allows for that removing the defender tactic. Instead, you probably should have pushed the pawn or captured or done something along those lines. Okay, but he doesn't do that. Hold on a second. Yeah, bishop e7, he doesn't capitalize on this removing the defender tactic. Instead, he develops his own bishop and gets ready to castle. You castle, and he castles, and now bishop e3 was played. And this is actually a really good move because it defends against this tactic, because now your bishop is protecting along with the queen. So even if this knight were to drop, you have both pieces protecting. So you got lucky that black really had 2 chances to take your knight and then take the pawn, and he didn't. Pawn to a6. I don't see really the purpose of this move. It does stop knight from going here, but why would you put your knight there anyway? I'm not so sure. Maybe he's just waiting to see what kind of move you would play next. But let's see. You play the move c5. I don't necessarily agree with this move so much, but it's interesting. I kind of like it. Let me think about this for a second. Let's see what happens if pawn takes. Okay, because then you can take here, so that would not be bad. d5 is pretty bad, but let me think. c5. I think it's pretty good. I don't see anything wrong with it. c5. But they are saying this. Bishop takes, and if you take back, and takes. Oh, interesting. And that gains him a pawn. So you would have lost a pawn here. I'll go through that one more time. So it's the removing the defender tactic. It's actually back now. Bishop takes, and now pawn takes here, kind of forking the bishop and knight. So you really have to take here. And now this pawn can take, and it's defended by the bishop. So you're going to be down a pawn. That's why it doesn't work. That's why c5 was a mistake. But he didn't do this. Instead, he played move d5, blundering the pawn. You can just take it. Since pawn is hanging, you have your pawn and you have your knight attacking. Let's see what he does. And you do take it. However, I don't think this is the right way to take because the knight can take back, which is what happened. Now e takes and queen takes. And here you play... Okay, yeah, this is a mistake. Here you play queen to d3. All he needs to do now is play pawn to e4, and now your queen and knight would have been forked. You would have lost one of those pieces. So moving your queen there was a huge mistake. Instead, you should have just either taken the pawn or really anything else. You're pretty much walking into a fork here. Okay, he doesn't see the fork. He plays pawn to f6. And I really like your next move, bishop to d1, because you're recognizing this pin here, this potential pin. If you're somehow able to get your bishop right here, the queen is going to be gone, which is super cool. And I think you find it, but not immediately. Okay, he makes this weird pawn move, which basically gives up the queen for free. However, I'm very alarmed by your next move. You play bishop to c2. What you should have done is the immediate bishop b3, picking up this queen. I don't know why you wouldn't. Maybe you're thinking you have some sort of checkmate with bishop c2, but like, let's say he makes a nothing move, right? Oh, in this case, you're going to win. This, and queen here. Yeah, it is good for you, so I understand why you played bishop c2 first. But honestly, that requires a lot of calculation. I would just take the queen. It's a free queen, you'll be pinned, and there's really no way out. There's no way for him to move his queen out of the way. Okay, pawn to g6, kind of stopping this checkmate from happening, and now you play bishop e3. So I think you did see it the whole time. I think you just wanted to maybe push him and have him weaken his kingside structure. If that's the reason, I understand it, but I personally wouldn't do it. I'd go right for the guts. Okay, he's attacking your queen, he's counterattacking. However, you taking his queen comes with the check. So that's really good. And first, like, let's pretend even if it didn't come with check, you can just move your queen here and the pin would still stand. So you take with check, and knight takes back. And at this point, you're completely winning. So let's see how this game goes. Queen here, again, another pin. He moves his rook. What he should have done is, unpin the knight by putting his bishop there. That's what he should have done. Okay. d8. Rook f1. Solid move. Getting your rook on a semi-open file. That means a file without your own pawns. It's a strong file for the rook. Okay, knight there. Okay, that's fine. You're still maintaining the pin. This move looks weird to me. It looks like you're giving up a free knight. Are you not? Takes and pawn takes, and what do you have next? I'm not sure. To me, I think you're just giving up a knight for absolutely free. I don't know why you take this pawn. But let's see what you do. Okay. Doubling up, not bad. Not a bad idea. There you go. Bishop h6, you're keeping the pressure on. I like that move. You do have a free bishop here, but you don't take it. Instead, you make a not as good move. You take this bishop. Knight can take back, right? Oh, you have a fair point. The knight is pinned, but the rook can take back. And you take back again, and now king can take. And now you're down a rook, actually. But you're still completely winning here. You can get the rook back by playing bishop g5, and you found the computer's top move, actually. Bishop here, knight f6. Wow, you're finding the top engine lines here. Very good, very good. This check, yes. King here, queen e5. Again, the best move. The best move, and you found it. And you're completely destroying him here. Wow. Okay, let's see if you're able to finish this up. King here. I think, oh, you were very smart to play king f1. If instead you were going for like a checkmate here in 1, you would lose right away. You would get checkmated on the back rank. And you recognize that. This is a very good game you're playing. King f1. Yep, and now you can just move back. Bishop d3, he's threatening to give you a checkmate. Let's see what you do to defend it. f3, very good move, giving your king a nice safe square out. So if the rook does check you, you can come out, and you'll be okay. Here, king there, exactly what you planned. There you go. He takes this pawn, but that's a deadly trap. If you play bishop here, it'll be checkmate in 1 move. You play queen e6, which is not as forceful. The most forceful move is this one right here. If you play this, you're threatening to either play queen here or queen here, which would have been mate, and it would have been over on the spot. But let's keep going. I think you eventually find the checkmate. So queen e6, king g7, queen f6 check. Yeah, now you play the move. It took you some time to find it, but this is what happens. And boom, checkmate. That's a very good game. Good job there. Just those couple of things that were a little bit shaky in the opening, but the end game, you rocked it. And this rating graph down here kind of proves what I was saying. Like, it was kind of back and forth up until the end game, and you played a very, very good end game. You played a lot of the top engine lines, and that was really good to see, so good job there. Let's go ahead and view your next game. Okay, I believe it's this one, against Tesla75. And you actually won this game. So let's go ahead and take a look. So you were black in this game, and white opens with e4. d5, this is the queen's gambit. Let's see if you accept or decline, and you decline it, and it actually turned into a Slav opening. That's with this pawn structure here, with the pawn on d4, c4, d5, and c6. That is the Slav. Okay, knight here, knight there. Okay. E takes c4 is interesting, however, you do have to be concerned that this bishop will eventually try to take back the pawn. You could defend with this pawn. It does get complicated, though, in this line where you do capture the pawn. Bishop takes, and you take back this way. That's fine. You could take back either way and be totally fine. He does get some space advantage, and he's attacking your pawn. And you don't protect the pawn. You actually let him take it for free, which is not good. In this position, you probably want to protect this pawn by playing something like this. That's really your only option at this point. Otherwise, you're dropping a pawn straight out of the opening. Not really dropping the pawn because you are up a pawn right now, but you're allowing him to take it and develop a piece on the tempo. Queen here, just allows him to take. Let's see what we do next. Okay, I understand. You're trying to pile up on this pinned piece here, but this is defendable. Oh, queen there does not look good to me. It looks like he's just making himself get pinned there. It sounds like there's a lawnmower in the background, so I'm going to pause this video and continue when the lawn mowing has subsided. Okay, the noise appears to have stopped. It was actually a leaf blower. They did the perimeter of the house. So that's what that noise was, in case you were wondering. So anyway, the last move was queen to d2. This is kind of putting himself in a pin, but It could be later. Maybe not. It is adding unnecessary pressure. Let's see. You castle next. That's fine. And now a3. You can just sit by, because if he does try to take your bishop, you can take the rook with the check. So you don't really even have to do anything here. And you don't, which is pretty good, except I'm a little bit concerned here. You're locking in your bishop, but you do always have the option to take the knight, so it doesn't look that scary. Oh, he took? That's giving up a free rook. You can take his rook right now, and you don't. Instead, you take the pawn. That's a horrible move. You instead should take the rook for free, right? I thought this was the reason you played your pawn here. Because if he does take, you can take the rook for free with the queen. This is just a no-brainer. Take the rook and, like, you're completely winning here. But instead you take the pawn, which does allow for rook here. Attacking the queen only has the square to go to. And then, wow, he can really start pushing you with knight here, attacking the queen, and white is much better here, in my opinion. But that's not what happened. What happened was queen to e2, moving away from this pawn. Let's see if you capture. Oh, it looks like he resigned right here. I'm not sure why white resigned. I think it's a little bit too early for a resignation, because white definitely has some counterplay with rook a4. So there's no real threat here. Maybe he was afraid his knight would be gone, but after rook here, you kind of have to move your queen out of the way, and then you can move his knight to freedom. So he's not totally lost by any means, and I think because white's rating is so low, he didn't really judge this position accurately and thought he was lost, and that's why he resigned. But I think your biggest mistake was not capturing the rook. You took a pawn instead of a rook, and that's just a rookie mistake. So not as good as your first game. Let's go ahead and go over your third game. Okay, this is against Jonah667. He is about 100 points higher rated than you, and it was a victory on your part. And I already like this. You take the lead in the beginning, and you ride it out to the end. So let's go ahead and see what kind of game this is. Okay, so I see this is an accelerated kind of attack of the Caro-Kann, and then this is the open variation. So e4, e5 probably transposes. Yes, it does transpose. Okay, good, very good. Taking right away, that doesn't look good to me. Yeah, this bishop move does not look good to me. As a general rule of thumb, you don't want to put your bishop in front of the pawn. The reason is because most of the time it will lock in this bishop. This bishop would like to get out, and to do that you have to clear the way of having this pawn move. But if the bishop is in front of that pawn, it can't really move. So it's just a general rule of thumb. Try not to put a bishop right in front of your pawn. And you are, it is on an awkward square, I think. Okay, bishop e6, queen b3. You're okay here. I mean, you had better moves to play, but I understand why you played it. You're attacking this pawn, and you're adding more pressure on this pawn. Just your pieces look awkward. It's really your bishop that's awkward. It would have been much better had you played bishop e2 instead. Okay, queen here, that's fine. Let me see something. Instead of queen b3, could you not take this pawn? Oh no, you can't, because you're. What happens? Right. Takes. Oh, because of this move. And one of your knights has been lost. So it's not a free pawn, and I think you recognize that unless you just didn't see it. Queen b3, queen c7. Let's just look through what happened. happened here. Okay, pawn takes, pawn takes, pawn takes, and push. This is a mistake because your bishop can just take the pawn. Ooh, you're taking the other way. Gets a little complicated here. Really. That's interesting. I like the idea behind that move. Okay, queen e7, castles, takes. You do have a fork. And you play the fork! Very nice! And it's not just a regular fork, it's a family fork. That means you're attacking the king, the queen, and the rook at the same time. So it's super nice, and it's always a good feeling to know how to play it. And now you're completely winning. And let's just play through these moves pretty quickly and see how you finish. Look at that, you can take this pawn here and get the rook next. But you don't do it. Instead, you take a pawn. I think you immediately saw you can take a free pawn and you took it. You didn't think about what else you can play. This move is a lot stronger because you do get a pawn and you would also get a rook. But it's fine, you're still completely winning here. You're up a queen, but you could have done it faster. This move, you're just inviting the king to move and then put more pressure on your queen. Not a big deal. So far, so good. He willingly exchanged a knight. It's not good when you're down on material to exchange, so it's not good on black's part to do that. You happily accept. And you could have won this pawn for free with your queen, but it's okay. At this point, you can make almost any move. He's giving a pawn for free, and you take it. Okay, you move the queen back to safety. You don't protect this pawn. I think it would be a... Oh, hold on, never mind. I spoke too soon. You're attacking this bishop here. So if you were to take, queen takes, it would be very ugly. Oh, look at that. Look at that. That's exactly what happened. He fell for it. Okay, from here, do you take the pawn or do you just do something else? Do something else. Bishop there. I like it. Getting your bishop into the game and maybe trying to get your rook one day into the game too. Okay. This blunders the rook. Queen here, check. The king will have to move, and then you can pick up the rook. But let's see what you did instead. You did not do it. It is too bad that you didn't do it, because that would have won your rook. Queen takes b7. Okay, now you're just taking his pieces one by one. I mean, it's fine. You'll win eventually. You'll get to a winning endgame. Yeah. You're not playing the most accurate moves, but it's not bad, the moves you're playing. They're pretty good. Check. There. And at this point, he resigned. I mean, he was completely lost anyway. He probably would have played with here, and king here, there, something like this. Here, and like checkmate, or something like that. It was pretty much over anyway. Good job though in this game. You kind of left your foot off the gas towards the end game. You weren't as forceful as you could have been, but you were playing it safe, and that's actually not a bad thing to do. When you're like completely winning on position, you don't want to get into something too tactical where the other player has chances of counterplay. So what you did was really fine. So, good stuff. That's a good game. Okay, and it looks like this one ended up in a stalemate, and it was 121 moves. That is a very, very long game. I'm not sure if I want to go over it. But, you know what, let's go over it anyway. This is the Slav. I'm just going to scroll through this. So, to me, it looks like you were completely winning and walked into a stalemate. Unless if it was the other way around. Let me just see. Oh, yeah. He was actually winning, and he got into a stalemate. Okay, let's go over this game. You were black, and he was white. Okay, this is a Slav. And there's a difference between the Slav and the Caro-Kann. The Caro-Kann looks like this. This is the Caro-Kann. And Slav is when the pawn's on the other way. That's the difference between the two. Okay, knight f3, knight there. So far, so good. You do have to be a little bit wary of this move because you can play queen here, attacks this pawn, and attacks this pawn. So it's just something you have to keep in mind. It's not, if he plays it now, you're fine because you do have queen c7, but it's just something to think about. Now, white plays knight to a3. I don't agree with this move. I don't know what it does. It's just a stupid move. It doesn't really put the knight on a good square. The knight should have gone here. Okay. Bishop there, knight there, developing your pieces. I think you're just putting your pieces on good squares, but you're not thinking of the weakness that the knight has. You could have maybe taken the knight, something like this, and hurt its pawn structure. But again, what you're doing is not bad at all. In fact, the computer likes it more than you can take it. So can't judge you on that. Here, you have a much better position. You have such a nicely placed pieces, and white's pieces are very awkward, especially this knight. I don't know what he's playing that knight. Okay, knight here, which is a mistake on white's part because you could eventually move the knight and have some pressure on the queen. So, like, the computer is suggesting you play this move, and if he does something like this, you can play, like, even knight here. So if he does take one of your pieces, like, let's say he takes your bishop, you can take the queen with check, and this is very ugly because of that sacrifice. The pawn can't take, obviously, because queen takes rook, and if the king just moves instead, you can play a very nasty queen check, king here. This is a check, sacrificing the knight, followed by this beautiful pattern, and that would be checkmate on the board. But that doesn't happen. Instead, let's see where we were. Yeah, knight here. Instead, you play knight e4, which allows knight takes bishop, and that kind of gets rid of your fancy schmancy moves there. And he does take, pawn takes, and now it's not so good for you, as good anymore. It's still better. It's still a better position for you, but it's not as good as if you would have played bishop here first. Because your pawns are doubled now, it is something you need to be concerned about. It could be an ending weakness. Queen c1, castles. Pawn here, this is a horrible, horrible move. This is the F pawn. As John Bartholomew says, it is the forget about it pawn. And the reason is it opens up this diagonal. You can attack it right away. You can play queen here, check. Okay? Now what's he going to do to block it? If he moves this pawn, again, you can take back with the knight. And you're threatening a discovery. Again, you can't take this pawn because his rook will be hanging. This would have been a very good move. If you play king here, you had a fork here if he does that. And if he plays king here, you had a fork. So you would have been completely winning here had you played queen g5. So you really need to recognize this in the future. If the opponent ever moves the f pawn, especially before the king castles, you need to start thinking, can I attack the king? Are there any diagonals near the king that are open now? And the answer is yes. And you have a knight on a very, very well-placed square. You could have used the combination of the knight and the queen to really attack the king. But I don't know why you played knight g5. I really don't know how you played this move, so you'll have to explain it to me later. Okay, pawn here. You put your knight back, that's fine. And now you're still threatening to play queen h4. You can still play it. You play it. You do play it. Do you take back with the knight? You do. Wonderful. King moves. You get a check again, but I mean, you could just take the rook. A rook is worth more than a knight, so just take it and be happy at this point, you know? It's not like you have much of an attack after this check. that move looks very weird to me because the pawn can just take, no? Bishop takes. I don't know. I don't know about knight c2 here. I feel like you could have just, instead of playing this knight move, what you could have done is something like this check, and then picking up the rook and winning the game that way. But yeah, you're allowing your knight to be in a position where it can be taken. Okay, you play knight there again. Bishop e1, and now you took your foot off the gas. So now white's putting the pressure on you because now he's pinning your knight to the queen. Knight here. Yep, you can take. Takes. And now pawn takes. And now the queen is protecting you. So you don't have that tactic anymore. And now you're actually losing. You're losing material here. Okay. Queen takes. You're offering a queen trade. It's going to be hard for you. Here he's blundering a knight. The only piece protecting the knight was the pawn, and you moved it, and you recognized that, so you took it. So well done. Hopefully you should win here. But I know you don't. You got stalemated somehow. I will really wonder what happened. C takes. So for me, this looks completely winning. All you really need to do is move your rook here, give a check, and maybe double up your rooks on the c file and just dominate and just destroy them. Seems pretty simple in my eyes. Okay. This is a huge mistake. The king can take your rook for free. What are you doing? I think you're being too aggressive here. Just move the rook here. Move the rook here and you're fine. You're completely fine with the rook there. King went here and you gave a check. But the king can take your rook. Okay. That was a mistake on his part. What he should have done is play this. This way, if you do take, he can take back, and then if you take with the king, and then it's just pawns, and he has a bishop, and it's totally winning for white. So that was a huge mistake on white's part. He moved out of the way, so now you have two pieces attacking with one piece defended one time. You recognize that, you take, and now you're winning. So what happens? How do you mess this up? Okay. He's going to take a pawn now. You're giving both of these guys away for free. He takes that one. Okay. And he's going to take this one next. You can't protect it. Takes. And now you're giving up this pawn too. You're giving up pawns left and right. It's not good. You lost your advantage here, I think, because he has a passed pawn here. He's going to try to promote this. And he has a majority on this side. So he's going to push these pawns and try to get a queen. You do have your king and your bishop, but the computer recognizes this as a draw. With perfect play, it's a draw, but it's clearly white's side to win instead of yours now at this point. But let's see what happens here. You're lucky your bishop is guarding the square. But what he really should do, instead of really bothering this bishop, what I would do is play this pawn move and then this pawn move. Either you're going to take, you're not going to move or something. I want another passed pawn, so I'm either going to push it or I'm going to take it at that point, depending on what you do. But I'll have two passed pawns, and I'm probably going to promote at least one and try to win that way. But let's see what happens. And you're going to try to promote your pawns, because that's really all you have at this point. The bishop can take, let's see what it does. He doesn't take. The bishop could have taken this pawn right here. And it's technically still a draw for you, but it's challenging to hold it. Takes. Yep, it's fine. Okay. Ooh, gave up this pawn. Yeah, this is tricky for you, isn't it? Why would you give up this pawn here? You move your king away. This is your only winning chance, this pawn. Otherwise, you have no chance to win. And by moving the king away, you're giving up this opportunity. It's very dangerous. Queening, and you block it. Very nice. He is threatening to play king here and queen. Very nice. Play bishop here, basically stopping him in the act. Let's see if you can get your king here to stop those other pawns. You might be able to. You might be able to. So I recommend you play something like king here, and then you can take this pawn. If he pushes, you can take that. So, in other words, like let's say he makes a nothing move, you can play king here, attacking this pawn, and let's say he moves, you can even take back with the king. And it'll be pretty hard for white to make progress. He could try this, going here, and here to attack your bishop, and then promoting, but eventually you may need to sacrifice your bishop for this pawn, and then do whatever you can to stop this pawn from promoting. And in a lot of endgames, if white has just a side pawn left, most of the time it could be a draw. So this game is holdable for sure, but it will require some basic endgame knowledge, which you currently lack. Okay, here. But like these kinds of endgames, they're very good to get into, because you can really see how in-depth these endgames can go. You're doing a great job so far, not making any mistakes in this endgame. Let's see how long you can hold. So it's just a kingside shuffle here. The king's trying to come the other way to help the other pawns promote. Okay. So far, it should just be a draw. I don't think either side is making any sort of progress. Here, your pawn should just take it. Yeah, this is a huge mistake here. You should have taken the pawn right away, and then you need to try to make sure he doesn't promote. I get it's pretty scary, but I mean, now he has two pawns that you have to. It's really tough for you. I mean, it might be holdable, but it is very, very tricky. It's tricky in game. Let's see. Yeah, you're giving up the third pawn, and you're completely losing here. So how did we get to this point? Okay, so he advanced. You should have taken it right away. Trade them. Then you have one less pawn to worry about. You push. He pushes. And he allows this. And now he's going to get to your pawn, because at this point it's a goner. Yep. Yeah. It's over, because now he can just move his king and push these pawns and win. Let's see where he messes up at this point, because really it's a complete win for white now. Push there. Yep. So far, white's playing well. He actually has checkmate in 5 moves. White's playing very slowly. He gets a queen, takes. That's fine. Push there. Yep, he's giving up. Okay, interesting. Okay, this is a very easy checkmate. So very quickly, I'm gonna play it here. Let's say you go here, just go here, something like this, and now you're stuck. You have only this move and this move. Just bring the king in here, and this is a very easy win for white, and that was a checkmate. But let's see what happens. How did white mess this up? Looks like white doesn't really know how to checkmate. He's making all the right moves so far of putting the queen and knight square away, but it's tough for him to make. Yeah, no, he is making progress. He's getting you in a corner. Okay, this is a mistake. He basically walked himself into a stalemate. You don't have any moves. You can't go anywhere because they're all covered by the enemy pieces. What he should have done instead is just move the king here and trap you on this line, and go here, king here. No matter what you do next, it's checkmate. If you go there, it's checkmate, and if you go here, it's checkmate. And that would have been it. You really should have lost this game. You got lucky your opponent wasn't so skilled in his endgame. And that's all I have for you today. Thank you so much for watching, and have a wonderful day.